I first came across mirror work about 4.5 years ago when I was reading a book, and it suggested to say, "I love you" continuously into the mirror, and I just could not get on with it. So I thought I'd give it another go, and I wanted to share my 10-day Louise Hay's mirror work experiment with you, tell you how I did it, how it works, the science behind it, and exactly how I got on. So mirror work. It is a self-love practice where you look into a mirror and you repeat positive affirmations. And Louise Hay believed that the mirror reflects your own thoughts back at you. And if those thoughts are negative, that's what's reflecting back at you. So it's repeating the positive affirmations that you want to have in your life instead. The science bit behind this is to do with, firstly, neuroplasticity. So affirmations help you rewire your brain in a different way. The brain has a negativity bias, so you naturally focus on the negative things. By repeating to yourself these positive affirmations and doing it into a mirror can help you change those neural pathways into your brain over time. Obviously, it's not a quick fix, but the more you do it, the better it will work. Now, a study in a 2016 journal suggested that using positive affirmations actually activates the prefrontal cortex, the area in your brain that's responsible for creative thinking, problem solving, and most importantly, abundance. So repeating these positive affirmations over time by using the mirror changes neural pathways. It also involves your reticular activating system, so the information finding part of your brain. If you're telling yourself good and positive things, you're filtering out the information that's not going to support you and helping your brain to look for the things that are. So how does it work? What do? You literally get a mirror, look into the mirror, and don't necessarily do the self-love one unless you really feel that you can get behind it, and you tell yourself positive affirmations. So this might be, "I am worthy. I deserve respect." Now, don't get me wrong, it feels really awkward and uncomfortable to begin with, but you may as well just give this a try. And I did this for 10 days, and here's what happened. The first few days, as I said, I struggled with it because saying "I love you" into a mirror does not necessarily come naturally to me, even now, despite all the personal development work I have done. So I looked for a different phrase to use, that one that I could really get behind. So I chose to say, "I feel safe and I am choosing to feel more than enough." But by day 3, I noticed something really interesting. When I was saying these things to myself whilst looking in the mirror, I noticed the resistance that was coming up for me. And this is only normal. 80% of your thoughts are negative, and this is ingrained in you since a very, very early age. So it's natural that if you say good things to yourself, that resistance and that negative voice in your head will come up and start having a little chat. The thing is, when you're actually saying to yourself, "I feel safe" or "I feel worthy" into a mirror, that resistance feels really, really loud, and then you start to notice it. Once you notice this, you can do something about it. Louise Hay herself, who founded this method, suggests that resistance is a sign that you should keep going. So she says, if you feel resistance to saying "I love you" into a mirror, it's exactly the sign that you need. Keep going, it will break through. So even though it felt uncomfortable, I kept going. And here's the interesting thing after that. Now, I know that you can't control the first thought that comes into your head, but you can control your second. So as the days went on and I kept trying this mirror work, so looking into the mirror, and even for a few minutes a day, keep on saying the positive things that I needed to hear, even when that voice came up, I changed the voice from a negative one to a positive one. So here's what I mean. When I heard myself say, "You are more than enough," and the resistance came up, I stopped that resistance and just repeated the positive message again. And as I said, after about 5 days, it was quite weird because I started to sense that I was more relaxed, which had nothing to do with being more than enough, but I certainly felt more relaxed and calm in different situations. So I didn't necessarily notice a change in how I was, but I did notice a change in how I felt. And this more relaxed version of me seemed to also be a bit more present as well, and a bit more unflappable. Now, I know that this has nothing to do necessarily with telling myself that I'm more than enough or that I'm safe, but I think it's brain's way of noticing more of the good stuff and giving that back to you. That's the only way I can explain it. I did struggle though, I'm not gonna lie. So here's how I made it work for me. I habit stacked. So every time that I brush my teeth, which I do twice a day at least, I made sure that I did the mirror work. So speaking to myself positively in a mirror straight after brushing my teeth for a good few minutes. So I'm ensured that I could do it each day. And the best thing was, because I brushed my teeth first thing in the morning, I said the positive things I wanted to tell myself based upon the things I had going on in that day. So for example, if I had a big presentation or I needed confidence or I knew that I had a sales call in my business, I would have positive self-talk around this. So it might be, you're going to be amazing in the presentation today. You're going to really, really connect with that person on the sales call. And I also found that as time went on, I really felt more into what I was saying as well. And I think part of this was because I believed it to be true more too. And as I said, I did it when I brushed my teeth last thing at night as well. So in this instance, I kind of primed my brain and my subconscious almost for sleep. So what you're supposed to do is, before going to bed, create this vision in your head of the person that you want to become and the good stuff you want in your life, instead of focusing on the negative stuff that's happened in the day. So, as an example, I'd tell myself stuff like, you're an amazing speaker, or your business is thriving. Things that I wanted my subconscious to focus on in my sleep. I then repeated the same thing the next day. So I used the morning mirror work to support the person I was being that day and whatever I had coming up, and the evening mirror work to support the future version of myself, the version that I wanted to become. So you know that saying about confidence in particular, you can fake it until you make it. I think you have to think along those lines, in that you have to give it a go and you have to try saying this stuff to yourself until you actually naturally feel that way. Now, I know for a lot of people this might cause feelings inside them to come up to say, I'm just not going to try this because I don't even like looking at myself in the mirror. But what have you got to lose? If you don't try and try it over a period of days, you'll never know what happens. So at the end of the 10 days, was I any different, and had it worked? Did mirror work, this little thing, did it naturally stop all my insecurities and give me incredible success, like some of the mirror work videos that are out there on YouTube suggest is possible to happen? No, because I just don't think that doing it for 10 days is a sufficient amount of time, but I will be carrying it on because I certainly noticed a difference. Not necessarily in every aspect of my life, but at least in the difference to how I showed up in front of the mirror. I stopped looking for the resistance and actually the flaws in my appearance, of which there are many, and I started to look for the good stuff instead. So would I recommend other people try this? Definitely. And if you feel stuck or lost about how to do it, please do put a comment below, because mirror work isn't just about positive affirmations. It's actually accepting yourself as who you are and helping support yourself to become the best version of you. So I'd love to know if you're going to give it a try. Please let me know how you get on, and if you found this video useful, please subscribe and tell others about this, because mirror work genuinely could change your life.